Hello YouTubers, this is yosemite4000 and I thought I'd comment on the kidney parole, issue in Jackson, Mississippi. Before we get started, first off, I'm going by the intent. So for anyone out there who's talking about the whole $11 situation, that doesn't concern me personally, because for all they knew, they could have had thousands. So yeah, I'm going on intent. Armed robbery, in the way that it was described in the article that I read, seems, pretty severe and whatnot. But no matter what sentence you give them, I don't think that you can justify life in prison. And the whole $11 net thing, okay, cool. Slap on the wrist. When I say slap on the wrist, I mean they could do 1 to 5 years probation. They could do 6 months in a detention camp. They could do 1 year in actual prison. Any of those things, or a combination of those things, fines, all of those things seem more appropriate. And I was on YouTube, or rather Facebook. Excuse me, let me get on my name. I was on Yahoo when I saw the little article, and I'm reading some of the comments, and they're pretty racist. Now, before you say anything, racist both ways, so don't do that. I'm not racist. I grew up around whites, blacks, Latino, Asian, all that. So if there's anyone who's not racist, it'd be me. Now, I do understand what some Caucasians are talking about when they say that blacks are racist, because my grandmother, I wouldn't call her racist, but she doesn't really like white people. That's probably because she grew up during the whole Jim Crow, pre-1968 situation, so she doesn't trust it. I mean, if people go around beating people and killing them and spraying them with hoses, and you were there, you might be inclined to keep your distance. Now, the only racism that I myself have ever in my life experienced was from an Indian woman. A woman from India. She thought I stole something out the store. I did not. And actually, a old white lady, which makes it even the better, she, defended me and was like, "That's not right." Now, I'm from Delaware, so that's not the South. I now live in Georgia, and that is the South. So let's get a little bit more into the whole situation. I'm looking at it now. Some people are talking about, I don't want to sound bad and blah blah blah, but I didn't put your great grand uncle in slavery and all that. They said 99 or 100% of all of them were sold by black people, and that, now 99% isn't true, but a lot of people do not know that blacks sold their rivals, war captives, or their slaves, because slavery has existed pretty much everywhere in the world, for a long time actually, and blacks weren't the only slaves. There were black slaves in Roman times and all that. There were more than likely Asian slaves of some sort, even white slaves, I would assume, if they were captured or more. But anywho, it actually turns out that black people came here to America of their own free will in the beginning. Just like every, we helped colonize and found this great nation as well. But then the business people that the colonists were, they thought, hey, if I don't have to pay them anything, that greatly increases my, wealth. Look at George Washington. He had slaves, and I believe he grew hemp or something. All these people had slaves. So if okay, here's the situation. Give me, not even a lot, just give me 5 white slaves right now. And I guarantee you I'll be a millionaire by the end of the year, because even if I just make all of them go get a job and I take all the money, I'm obviously getting 5 times more than I would. Now people say, well, your great great grandfather. That doesn't mean anything, because after you slave them, I mean, after you free the slaves, you waited to even tell them to. They were still abused, they were still killed, they were still hung, lynched, all that. Now, to me, that's their fault. They were dumbasses for staying in the South, point blank, period. But it wasn't that, much greater up north. It was all in the laws. So, you know, we had kind of a slow start, so to speak. You had a head start and everything. It's just we were given the handicap, though. You know, we probably could have used a little bit more back then. Now, I never asked for reparations. All I want is to be equally, given the equal chance of a job, and whoever's better gets the job. If it's if they're equally qualified, flip a coin. I feel like my luck might be on my side. 50-50 chance. You never know. But people, I'm just looking, and all people are so rude. I mean, let them both die there where they belong, in jail. Okay. They're not in jail, they're in prison. There is a difference. Prison sucks balls. I mean, it's like a Nazi camp. Most people lose weight, a lot of weight. Those people are around violent people, criminals, if you would, who really have killed people and who really have robbed banks. You know, the guards are usually jerks. I mean, that's what they're taught. They're usually retired veterans who are coming there to get, another extra check just to make ends meet or whatever, blah blah blah. But they're usually closed-minded. I won't call them stupid, but they're usually closed-minded. They usually don't feel bad about what they're doing. They feel justified, and they should. They're just doing their job. But just do the job. Leave, go home, sleep, have a nice day with your wife and kids. Come back, do the job. Repeat. You don't have to be an asshole to people. They're criminals. They really will hurt you. And the only reason that criminals don't is because they do have a respect for the system. Not necessarily the guard, but the system. Because they understand that if they do their time, they get to leave. But it really is hard to be a black person, I have to say. Now, I've never taken welfare. I've never had welfare, food stamps, any government assistance. My parents were too proud for that, and they managed somewhat. If we did take anything from the government, it would be the free lunches or the reduced lunches that we got. I am one of four. My parents divorced at age 10, so I never had it all that good. Once they got divorced, it was even worse. Blah blah blah. I don't want to give my life story, but a lot of people go through this: black, white, Hispanic, Filipino, whatever you want to throw out. So my message isn't even that minorities have it hard. Everyone has it hard. I mean, we live in a government where people go to jail all the time for dumb stuff. And these comments are like, other people went to jail and, they, and blah, blah, blah. I don't think that because another person got cheated out of their life and is going to be in prison for the rest of their life, I don't think that that's an excuse to say, well, send them as well. The system is broken. I mean, you're using a system that was, was pre-American. It really came from, Great Britain. We altered it slightly, the whole Constitution, but they based everything off that. That's what we're a society of. We cherish what old dead people have said, even though we're supposed to be moving forward. And kind of sucks, these judges There are judges who take pride in the fact they've given over 1,000,000 years in their career. I don't think that there's something that a person should ever be proud of. You you destroyed so many lives. I mean, and yes, it is their decision. They did it. They initiated it, but give them 11 years. It's $11. Give them 11 years of that. And they've been there 16. And the only reason that they're letting them go, and I sincerely know that this is the only reason, is because she has to go through dialysis. They on Yahoo it said daily. On another article I read it said 3 times a week. So I'm not sure, but they said it totals over $200,000 a year. Um, I'm not entirely sure, but these jails and these prisons actually make money. People, they're not a cur of society like people say. But a lot of them are privately owned. Um, they're very cheap. They're run very cheaply, very efficiently. They're a lot of times they're old and free labor. And I mean that's what I would call slavery. If you get paid in food, that's that's slavery. Now, federal camps, I believe you do get some of it, but that's run by the actual government. And that's what people call, oh, this like Sandy Springs, they got a golf course and everything. Yeah, that's where Bernie Madoff is, but they're in Mississippi, so it's not that fun, I'm sure. Um, I don't know. It's just sad to me. And then it's like when they get out, they probably gonna have probation. They probably won't be able to get a job, a good one anyway. I mean, I don't know. I just want people to wake up and just realize that it's not great in America. It's not the land of the free or the land of the imprisoned. I mean, everyone wants this wall South America, south of U.S. to stop these Mexicans. Soon it'll be, well, we gotta stop terrorists because they're gonna try and come in from Canada. Then they're gonna say, well, the side of our borders is open to drug attacks. Pretty soon we'll have a big ass wall, all four sides. But not only does the wall keep things out, it keeps things in. It'll be extremely hard to leave the country if you feel like you want to or need to. I mean, there's a lot of things that I would like to discuss, but I just want to keep on topic. So, for all you people out there who say they deserve, no person deserves to go to prison at all. No one deserves to go. Now, some people maybe should go. Just I don't know. I mean, they do that a lot. They say, well, we'll just scare them, and that'll keep them straight. Sometimes that works. You're using tax dollars, but sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it takes a perfectly innocent individual and puts them around other people who have been doing this their whole life, who are better at it, who will teach them things, who will never be out. So they hope to influence the world by teaching this individual how to do the craft a little better, and that'll put them on life that you don't want. Plus, you give them no other alternative. It's not like you say, well, after we scare you, we'll take your sentence away. You don't do that. You leave them as is. This whole racism thing, yeah, it sucks, but you know what? It is real, you know. I remember when I first got to college, I went to see a movie. I don't have a car, so I walk. It was when I had no idea what was playing, but it was the day Harry Potter came out. It was the only thing that was going to be showing. You had to wait 30 minutes. Everyone had their little hats on, you know, and I went in. I saw the movie. It was my first Harry Potter movie. It was all right, you know, just a movie. Just wanted to see a movie. So on my way back, I decided I wanted something to eat. I was gonna go to McDonald's, but it was past 12, so I didn't know that the doors are locked. So I crossed the street